Good morning. How is everyone doing this morning? It is still very smoky outside. My voice has decided this morning that it's going to come and to go. Can't decide which direction it's coming from or going to. So today's theme is which of your skills needs to be honed at this time? So honed would be sharpened. Which one of your skills needs to be sharpened at this time? So we all have a multitude of skills. We all have things that I'm sure could be sharpened and could be clarified and could be made more intense. But it's hard sometimes to narrow that down. What is one skill that you need to sharpen? When we talk about spiritual stuff, a lot of times we get way off into highfalutin like, oh, I need to learn how to meditate, or I need to learn how to do yoga, or I need to learn how to be more positive, which is a very vague skill if you're going to look at that as a skill. I would encourage you more to look at one thing, like a practical thing, something that grounds you. So a skill that is on my list is learning how, or not learning because I already know how, but practically building in time into my day for 15 minutes of spiritual research or study or poetry. I'm pretty good about having a list of things to do, but I'm not always very good about building it into my day because I get tired, and if I'm having a bad biotoxin day, it's very difficult for me to put into my day all of the things that are on my list. So though I have the ambition and I have the want, I don't always have the staying power to build all of the things on my list into my day. So the skill that I need to practice is building that day so that I can prioritize the most important things that need to be in my day versus the things that I can put off to another day if I'm having a bad day. And spiritually speaking, when I have done that, when I have honed that skill really well, and at one time in my life I actually did really well with it, I feel like I got much more done on the spiritual side as well as the practical side of living life fully and with all of the pieces in place that I wanted to have in place. So some people are list makers, some people are fly by the seat of your pants. I like lists, I really do. I enjoy them. I make lists all the time. I have books of journals that pages and pages of lists. But something that I would really like to do is write more poetry for morning prayer. I would like to make more poetry that is my own rather than reading it. So to do that, what I really need to do is build into my day 15 minutes of time that I can write poetry for pagan morning prayer. So that is a skill, building in time into your day. It's a practical skill. It has really nothing to do with making magic or potions or spells or anything else. It has more to do with hitting the ground running in the real world and how do you incorporate those things into your life. I think that people get away from, when they think of spirituality or they think of paganism, they think of people who are running around with pentagram t-shirts on and pentagram earrings in and always talking about being positive and I never get angry and I never get frustrated and I'm always going to be a positive spiritual person. Or I talk to angels and I'm always going to be connected to them. And I mean, just they think of somebody, not always someone that's grounded, that's real. And I think that it's an important thing that when you're looking at your daily themes, that you're real about your life. You're real about who you are as a human being. And yes, you are a spiritual being living in this human existence, and I get that. But we have to live in the world. You have to ground that out. You can't live in this other realm and not live in this life too. You have to balance the two out. And I think I talked about that yesterday a little bit too, but the reason I keep bringing it up is I keep having people ask me, well, I would never have, or I should say not ask, but they kind of ask in their statements, well, I knew you were a pagan, but you don't come across that way. Or, well, I knew you did readings, or I knew you were an intuitive, or I knew you were psychic, but you don't come across that way. Or, I like the ones where you're a different kind of psychic, are you? So, it's because I live in the real world and I don't let myself get carried away. I think it's important that you have to ground and you have to live here. You can't let it carry you somewhere else. And reality, each reality is built by each person's perception. And my perception is that from a very young child, I was told you were a very believing child, and they're absolutely correct. I have a great deal of faith, and I have a great deal of understanding of what is out there, but I also completely admit when I don't understand something, and when I don't get it, and when it's too big for even me to see. And I think it's important that each of us honor what we don't understand. I don't pretend to understand something that I don't, because it's false. You cannot be true to yourself, and you cannot be true to the people that you are trying to help if you can't look at it and say, I don't get it. I don't pretend to understand that big picture. I see this little piece, and I can tell you what that little piece is because I can see all the way around it, but I can't see behind it. I don't know what's next. And it's okay to say that. I think it's important that you're honest with the people that you work with, and you're honest with yourself when you say, I can't see that. The other thing that's important is if you are psychic and you are intuitive and you are, very connected spiritually, a big reality is a lot of times you see very little about your own life. You might have a feeling, you might have a little bit of a knowingness about something, but it's always a little, it may be fuzzy. At least for me, it's a vague sense of unease, but I don't see it clearly. Where I can see for someone else fairly clearly, I can't see for myself. And that is a reality that you live with. And it doesn't go away. I think I got a little sidetracked. Anyway, sorry about that. Which of your skills needs to be honed at this time? So pick something that you're working on and make it something in the real world, something that you can really focus on. All of our themes are things that you can work on, so you don't have to work on every single one of them. But maybe for today, just pick something that you want to work on, something that is small, something that's real world, something that connects you spiritually, and think on that skill and how you can improve on that. Heavy are the burdens of this day. I call upon my soul's teacher to help me unburden the freight of today. May the house of my soul be set in order. I open the tired and empty spaces of my soul to your presence. Healer of hearts, so fill me that I may rise with a store of courage and compassion, generous provider of plenty. I give you thanks for your restoring love. Help me to unravel the mystery of this day. I ask a blessing on all who direct the communication networks of the world. May they balance truth and responsibility, power and revelation, that the soul of no being may be marred or misrepresented. May the needs of all who lack medicine and proper health care be made known to you, healer of the hearts. I give thanks to the autumn constellations for their starry protection. May their shining light mercifully shower a blessing upon all of us. So I am going to be doing a podcast / YouTube video at some point this weekend on the eclipse and magic and spiritual things that happen during the eclipse. So I hope that you would be able to tune into that and watch that at your leisure, and I hope you get something from it. It's going to be fairly long, I believe. I'm at 12 pages right now in my research. I want to do some kind of eclipse type ritual thing that I can outline for you. I want to be able to do that. We will see where I get with that. But I hope you have a beautiful day. I would say go outside and take a walk, but the smoke is terrible out here. If it's clear where you are, go outside and take a walk. But if you're where I am, it's horrible and thick and icky, and I don't want to be out there. Matter of fact, thinking about it makes me cough. I do encourage you to disconnect from the internet and the computer and do something. Do handwork, do yoga, do something that, cook in the kitchen, do something that is disconnecting from technology, computers and phones and EMFs and all those lovely things. So have a beautiful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow, and blessed be.